What is the new frontier for cinema? How do you think new technology will change the industry? 3D, virtual reality, all of these things that are...
Well, a lot of the hype on new technologies, I think, is overhyped.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you still have a reality to deal with, and that's entertainment. You have to entertain people. And of course, I'm one of those guys probably that 10 years ago, even though I was involved in all of it, I would never guess that people would sit in front of a all day long watching cats do stupid things. But we're there, and so I wouldn't have predicted that. Even though I started out as a non-story guy, I'm now much more of a story guy. And I'm much more about, you know, a more full-fledged experience rather than a quick little thing. Mm-hmm. And I think there's room for that. That's a whole different thing. But when you get into feature films, television shows, dramatic films, or documentaries, there's more to it than just what I call a circus. A circus is where we used to call it in film school, puppies on a freeway, which is the best way to make a good circus film, is simply to get a basket full of puppies, go out to the freeway, turn the camera on, throw the puppies out in the freeway, and see how long they last, and when one gets hit, then you take another one and throw it out there. And you do that for...
You're of course speaking metaphorically.
You do that for 90 minutes, and
yeah.
You've got a movie. And it's probably better than most of the movies out there. And that's what a lot of people do. You know, a lot of the movies that you see today basically are circus movies. I mean, it's also like feeding lions. Mm-hmm. It's like going to a real circus where somebody's walking a tightrope. It doesn't have anything to do with telling a story. Mm-hmm. It just has to do with the fact that, gee, let's see how much blood comes out when he splats. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean, again, the movie industry has turned into a bit of a circus. Mm-hmm. It always has been there. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's now gotten to be more and more circus without any substance behind it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I get blamed for a lot of that, but at the end, you know, if you go into Star Wars and take the time to actually see what's going on, there's a lot more substance there than circus.
For myself, and work that I'm interested in, or the work that I want to do, story comes first. I think there's a lot of exciting films out there, but I can see that it's missing a story. It's got special effects, it's got this, it's got that. But then I come away saying, it feels like cotton candy at the end of it. Where's the story? So for me, story is crucial. And if I'm going to do a project, I will break it down into 3 parts. What's the story, who are the characters, and where's the emotion? Those 3 steps, otherwise I won't go there, because I think that is what is satisfying. But I do believe the story is essential.
Right, I agree with that. And again, for me, a lot of people confuse and say, well, Star Wars is just a lot of special effects. People came out after that and did a lot of special effects movies, and they were terrible. Nobody wanted to see them. The thing is, I never invented any technology. What I did is I ended up with a problem, a story idea. How do I get this puppet, it's that big, it's got a hand in it, you can't see the bottom of this thing. But I really wanted him to move around and have sword fights and how do I do that? You can't. It's not possible. Just cut that out of the script, forget it. So I went about trying to invent the technology to be able to do that. Not, gee, I want to invent some new technology and then I'll figure out what to do with it. Everything I've ever done has been to make the process easier and to open up the ability to do more in your imagination and actually accomplish things. And everyone has a specific job. Every visual effect at ILM was invented for a particular shot or for a particular movie that had to have something that needed to be accomplished. And then you did all this work to invent the technology to do it. Once we went digital, it was way easier, just because digital is an easier medium to move things around and expand and solve problems. But what happens when you do that, when you kind of invent a new technology, you get a lot of other people who may or may not be as creative, and they just sort of exploit the technology. They say, well, I don't have to do anything. It's so cool. I'm just going to do this and this and this, and it doesn't work. I like to tell people, don't get hung up on art. You're an entertainer, and people will come along later and decide whether you're an artist or not. But in the end, you're just a guy or a girl standing in the corner with your hat in front of you, twiddling on whatever you're twiddling on, painting pictures, singing, dancing, doing whatever, and you hope to hell at the end of the day you got enough money put in there to eat. If you're really good at it and you're talented and everything, you will go a long way.
My grandfather said when he heard that I was going to be an actor, or before that, no, before that I was going to be an artist. He said to my dad, "What's he doing?" My dad said, "Well, he's going to be an artist." He says, "Tell him, doesn't he know you can't eat art?"
All right.